Hey all, how are you all doing? Um, so I got a question from someone, and the person asked me, "What is the best way, or let me say, how can I, how can I choose the right energy practitioner or healer for myself when I decide to go in with the inner work, or let me say, removing the gunk, that we are holding?" um, and that can come about from any place. You may have gone through um, a sort of probably, let's say, a trauma in your relationship area, and that wakes you up to the need to do the inner work. Or you've lost your job and you just need some counseling and therapy, or some health issue cropping up and you're feeling that you need to resolve that internally. So it could start off in any way, the inner process. But what is that one thing that I need to look for in someone who I'm then choosing to be working with me? Of course, trust is a very important factor. If I'm not able to trust the person that's going to be helping me, I will not be able to open up. So that's the biggest thing, of course, out there. And the second thing is whether I'm able to get along with the person. And the getting along part is very subtle, because what happens is that me as a therapist, when I'm working with someone, if I'm holding judgments within me, as in, when somebody is speaking about their life, and if I'm continuing to judge the person, yeah, then that person is not going to feel comfortable sharing um their stuff with me, and then I'm not going to be able to help them if they're not fully able to share their things, because they'll feel ashamed talking about certain dark, deep, innermost secrets. So so the judgments then is the next thing that the person who's a therapist or a healer should be able to have completely removed. Because if the judgments are there, even if you're not kind of openly saying to the other, and or showing to the other that you're judging them, vibrationally, energetically, you're transmitting it to the other. They would pick up the fact that they just start to feel judged, they start to feel uncomfortable and uneasy. You do not need to say anything. So that is the next thing. The third thing is the codependencies, guys, because if your therapist is holding codependencies, then they're not going to be able to be very effective, because either they will end up sort of praising you, or sort of having you kind of how do I put this, having you, hold on to them, or making you dependent on them. Yeah, because they do not want to lose you, and they want to be needed. They want themselves to be continued to be needed. So it's not in their interest to kind of um, stand up on your feet, so to say. Yeah, energetically, and come into that space where you're fine with them. So that's very important. Yeah, because there's a lot of when you're working with someone, the person is completely open. When you trust someone, the therapist knows the fact that the person that they're working with, that person is completely open, as in receptive to whatever is coming through. So if you have certain likes and dislikes, let's say, yeah, even that needs to be moved away from, because you need to start to exist in the zero neutral space, guys, as therapists, as healers, I'm saying. Because then what is going to happen is you are going to be guiding them or suggesting to them certain ways of being or certain decisions that they need to take. Yeah, first and foremost, there should not be any suggestion at all. You should just be able to hold space for the person, and then let the other decide what they would want to do. um, because every person, has their own unique journey and their own unique path. What may be right for you may not be right for the other. So firstly, there should not be any suggestions, and then in case you're having your own opinions or very strong likes or dislikes, then you will find yourself kind of very subtly throwing that in. Yeah, and the person is very open at that point of time, and that person is at the receiving, open, what I mean is, open to suggestions. Their mind can be programmed at that point of time. So what then happens is that your ways of being or your fears can be put into them. So it's very important for the therapist to be absolutely have cleared themselves, have walked the talk, whatever they are speaking. I see a lot of people out there today, guys. They are they've picked up the skills, yeah, like hypnosis, theta healing, Reiki, XYZ, whatever else, but they are still not in a space where they themselves are completely empty. Yeah, that they have come to a space of, when I say completely empty, there'll always be something or the other. But what I mean is more or less existing in the zero space, and life being a really ease and flow for them. So this is another way that you can gauge if the person is, at a zero point. What I mean is neutral. Yeah, they're not holding any fears, they're not holding any codependencies, and so on and so forth. So the way is, if their life is ease and flow, if they are calmer, you will get to know. You start to feel that magic. You start to feel. I have so many people tell me, this 1 hour call has just relaxed us so much, and that is so important for us, leave alone whatever changes start to happen just by speaking, just by suggestions. Why? Because I've done the inner work. I'm holding that space for them without pushing my way of being or whatever else on them. I just tell people, you know, do what resonates with you. Yeah. However, showing to them the stuff that they are coming from. So it's very easy for people to learn different skills and all, like I was saying, but the other stuff, which is I call the right attitudes, it's not so easy for people to develop that because they still haven't done the inner work. And the last thing is, which is a very important thing, if you're still holding certain pains and fears and codependencies and certain beliefs that are still there and your mind is still chattering, that means you're not existing in the now moment. You can be infested with certain entities. Entities are nothing but lower vibrational thought forms or beings, and they can be there on you. When I say you, what I mean is that the practitioner, the therapist, and when this therapist is going to be working with people, these entities can jump onto you. So so one needs to be really mindful and careful when they're choosing the practitioner, so as the existing situation doesn't worsen. Yeah, because we are going out there to kind of start to get help, not for it to get worse. um so do keep this in mind. I hope I answered the question. And uh, and it's very, very important to choose the right person, guys, because that that right person is going to be able to then shape your life in the right direction. And I also believe that not everyone would resonate with someone who seems to be, quote unquote, for instance, not all of you will resonate with me. Some of you come here and you really like, the way I am and all of that and everything, and you stay on here for a while. Yeah, but others would just come here initially and then they'll move away. I had something similar with a guy where he continued to come to me. However, for me, I use a lot of quantum physics, I use a lot of belief work and all of that we do. And the person was more inclined towards religion and, certain ritualistic practices and all of that. So after a certain point, I knew that he's not going to be able to gain anything from here. So I just suggested to him, because I knew that he was just coming, just for the heck of it. So there's no point for you to just continue to come to go to a therapist just because, oh, you need to kind of tick the box. So so there's no point. So I just told the guy, just, I think whatever you needed to take from here, you've already taken. Now I think And I suggested an organization to the person. So I said, just why don't you start to go there? And the person really went there and they were really happy. So sometimes sort of a place where there's a lot of religious activities taking place. Now, different strokes for different folks. I do not believe kind of belong to that school of thought. But there's so many different ways to reach Rome, or wherever you want to reach. But what I mean is going back home in words. Yeah, there's so many different ways. So I do not have any for or against religion. If somebody, if it kind of works for you, then definitely by all means. So see what is it that your requirement is, then you should be choosing the person that you would be working with, because that is something which is very important, because that person is going to be really then be able to either help you out of your situation, or you will just end up getting frustrated and just kind of give up. All right, I hope this answered the question for this beautiful person. And thank you again for joining us. Enjoy life irrespective.